J. Frederick Smith here, Continental Realty of Jackson. We are at 5019 Camppenella. You know, I passed this house. I went down two houses because I saw a sign on the side of the road there, and I saw that just as we were coming up on this one. But anyway, it's all good. We are here now, and we'll get a chance to take a look around. Thought first you would like to see what it's like at the street. Specifically, what the neighbors look like, a house across the street and what you have beside you. And, you know, kind of basically the whole look right here in the little pocket neighborhood where you're going to be at if this is a house that you ended up picking up. So it doesn't look too bad. That house, you know, maybe we need a couple of lawns mowed, but it is still early summertime, so maybe that's not such a big deal. I don't see a lot of trash. I don't see a lot of broken houses. You know, no broken windows, nothing boarded up. So that's all pretty good for me. Pretty good sign of, you know, what the neighborhood is like. Of course, you can always check. There's plenty of good websites to look at to see you know, what crime rates are and whatnot in a particular neighborhood, so or what schools are like. So, you know, you should take the initiative if this is a home that you're interested in and jump on that. So let's just start though by looking at the front of the house. First thing I want you to notice is that we have asbestos siding. The whole front of the house is asbestos siding. You know, it's not really that big of a deal. You just have to make sure with asbestos siding that you don't take it off. That's it. It's pretty simple. Just leave it on there. It's really super durable. It's not gonna go bad or warp or flake or anything. You just have to leave it alone, and then you're good to go. We've had windows replaced recently, although I wouldn't say, you know, super recently, simply because of the way the casing is, but they are newer double pane windows, at least in the front of the house, with the screens mostly intact. We got a little damage on the siding, the paint really from kudzu probably sticking itself to the wall there. They've cleared that off, but as you can see, it's still left a mark, and you're going to have to, you know, repaint that spot there. Looks like probably got some lead-based paint underneath, and so you're definitely going to want to get that painted. There is some cracked shingles up above this window, and once again, you know, these are asbestos, so you don't really want to take those off. But what you can do is you can use some filler to fill those in, and that works just fine. The soffits all look nice, and the eaves seem to be in good shape. This trim for the roof, I don't see a lot of moss or any debris really on it, which makes me feel like the roof is probably pretty new. And backing up, I can see that, yes, in fact, the roof looks like it's, you know, maybe a couple of months old, maybe not any more than that. So that's very helpful, having a new roof, especially in Florida right now with the way that the insurance companies are treating people that are interested in buying a home. Personally, I'd want to repaint this guy simply because, you know, it's pretty spotty. A lot of flaking on the paint. That flaking is lead-based paint. It needs to probably be abated by a contractor that knows about lead-based paint and how to remove that. Also, shrubbery next to the house like this, big bush, is something, in my opinion, that is a real issue, because the problem is that where there's plants like this, there's also insects. And insects of the kind that you don't really want to have crawling up into your house. And with this, it up pressed against the siding, that gives them an opportunity, a bridge, if you will, to get into the home and cause problems. We've got T111 on this little extension, and we do have an actual extension here that's built in. All this house is off-grade, up on blocks, same as this, but we are also missing the cover to block any kind of intrusion from animals here in this back part of the house. It's missing some up above on the front or on the side too. And you know, you really want to have the opening there for the under part of the house covered, because without that, you're going to have, you know, snakes and cats and dogs and rats and possums and all sorts of things making their home onto your house. And that's just not something you want. This T111 siding is not a siding really that is good for Florida. It really isn't. You know, it's not that old, but even though it's not that old, look and see what's happening here. The sun and the weather just brutalizes this kind of siding. This is really more of a cooler weather siding and is not very good here in the humid, hot states. So my suggestion is, you know, pull that stuff off. There's not that much of it. And put up some cementitious fiber siding. Hardy makes a really great product, and I'm not advocating them in any way. I'm just letting you know. I like the Hardy cementitious fiber siding. Hardy board. You can get that in the 8x4 sheets, just the same as this T111, and put that up. Now also, another problem here is that at the top of that, I don't know if you can see it, but at the top of that, there is, you can actually, the top of the siding is sticking out. It's actually away from the wall. And the problem there is that water, when it rains, is going to hit the top of that guy, and it's going to just run right down into the wall and cause all sorts of trouble in and out. You really do need to have something like, you know, these little eaves here overhanging it, but we don't have that. So something's got to be put over the top edge there of this whole siding on this side of the house. Coming around to the back, besides the wasp nest that we've got here, or two, we've still got these windows here. Now this looks actually like an aluminum frame window, probably just a single pane, but there is at least a screen on it. I've got some rot on the fascia here, just from water dripping down. That's what this is. And you know, if it's properly painted, that doesn't really happen. So that little piece of wood needs to be removed, and I mean from end to end, okay? And then a new piece put up, and then have that thing painted so that it's not susceptible to moisture any longer, and then you'll be good to go. Still not covered in the back here, and we still got damage to the T111, even though most of this is in shade. So let's just take a look here at the back. The backyard is a really nice size. Seems like it's mostly, if not fully fenced, I believe it's fully fenced. Grass down, and the grass is in mostly good shape with this giant tree here to give you shade. This guy does not overhang the roof. It's huge, but it does not overhang the roof, which is awesome. You don't have any neighbors behind the house. It's all green space back there, which is also lovely. Then you've got this little block. It's probably a garage. I'd have to say it's a garage with some cracking here. We've got some settling. You can see that settling, you know, is just a natural part of the way things work in Jacksonville, in any case, and probably most of Florida, because this is all built on sand. Everything here is built on sand. It's all sand underneath, and even these slabs like this just settle down into the sand, and then what happens is your walls, you know, start to separate a little bit there, because, you know, that's the wall it's tilting the wall, right? So that's what's going to happen. It's going to make a break point, and then blocks are going to separate. Now, you can't really do much about the separation, but you should still treat your wall so that the cracks are no longer cracked like that. These here, for example, can be treated, filled in, and you would do that for a couple of different reasons. The first is, once again, that an integrity of the wall is really based on it being a solid piece. And if it's not filled in, then it's no longer a solid piece. But also, for certain kinds of home loans, it really needs to be filled in so that you know, the settling shows as being repaired. And the final thing is that if the settling is continuing, there's not a way really to know when you're just looking at a gap. You really need to see the work that you've done and then see that break after, you know, a small period of time to know for a fact whether there's a problem with the building settling or not. Continuing to settle, I should say. So this here is that fiber cement board. This is probably that Hardy product, one of them that I was talking about. Needs paint, but it's in good shape. The roof on this building probably needs to be redone. It's really too much pitch for that kind of a roof. But it's the garage, right? So you could probably get away with it. On the side here closest to the property line, however, there is some real issue. As you can see here, we've got roofing off and a lot of rot in the material that supports that roof. So something probably want to be done about that. And really, the main issue here now, if you're thinking about buying, is that would have to be done before this house would be able to be sold with an FHA or a VA loan, unfortunately. Looks like they had a window AC unit here at one time, and they took it out. That's what that is. And also, it looks like they've done some work on the roof as far as repairing some of the deck of the roof. As you can see, we've got painted wood here and unpainted wood. That's typically because the part of the deck has been replaced over on this side. Pretty much the whole house needs to have the crawl space area sealed in, and you know, that's whether or not that's something that would have to be done to get the loan. I guess that would depend on the person that did the appraisal. But we'll get to the inside of the house and leave that question for later. So I'm going to get in here to this key box, get this open, and we'll be inside in just a minute.